Welcome back to another episode of Azrael Reacts. I'm your boy Azrael, and today we are getting back into that slavery. The greatest deception to deceive indigenous minds to make them forget who they are and where they come from. Or otherwise known as From Kings to the Most Envious, because like I said, I'm changing that titles. Not slaves anymore, just the most envious that everyone likes to steal our shit from. But hey, I'm bringing more videos to back up the claims that I just made about that. Like I said, other people have noticed the same thing, that they love to steal from black Americans but never love to give them the credit, which is just crazy. Yeah, which is just crazy to me, like just crazy. But hey, if you're enjoying the videos that I'm bringing, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. I'm not talking that much today. We just gonna go ahead and hop right into the videos. But hey, like I said, go ahead, drop a like and subscribe, because every little bit helps, and we thank you guys so much. But hey, let's get into these videos.
So y'all check out the caucasity of this $5 cracker, or my bad, native, addressing one of the sisters in her comments, right? And then when he said on her video, I want to address that too. Now, he said, my mama speaks fluent Cherokee while you be speaking fluent Caucasian, denying your own ancestors. Caucasity. So who is the real dumb one here? I guess we didn't scout enough froze. Shit, you mean froze like this? This is an ancient Mayan, right? Or froze like this, these are California Indians that was first encountered by Spaniards. Or you mean a fro like that from Chippewa? I can keep going, but I want to get to the disrespect. Now, your cracker ass mama speaking Cherokee don't mean shit at all. The fucking language, the written language, wasn't even created until 1821. It started in 1809 to 1821 by a cracker or a mixed native named Sequoia, whose real name was George Guest or George Gist. This cracker right here. And one thing I can bet is that your mama genealogy don't go back further, or don't even go close near to when this was created in the 1800s alone. Fuck the 1700s, 1650s. Your shit don't even go back to the middle of the 1800s. Early 1800s, late 1700s, none of that. But ours do. And Cherokee ain't what these people call themselves. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna tell you my shit, but Aniwawia is the real name, pussy. Now I want to address that welfare comment that you made, right? Because it says right here, yes, American Indians and Alaska Natives, which are talking about Native Americans, they're not talking about us, right? The real American Indians have the highest rates of welfare participation among racial and ethnic groups in the United States. Excluding housing assistance, this is linked to their higher poverty rates and other socio-economic challenges. Now, why this is very important is because y'all get paid from the government. Like, like y'all get paid from the government every week, month, every 2 weeks, however this shit go. Y'all get paid from them. And you still have the highest rates of welfare participation and poverty rates too. I can show you that. But y'all like to put these stereotypes on us when they actually apply to your people, right? Y'all been getting paid forever from the government. What have y'all been doing? And then you wouldn't even have welfare programs without the true American Indians fighting for it, right? Like, this shit, we got that. Without us fighting for this shit, you wouldn't even be on welfare. We created those programs. Like WIC, you know, the Black Panthers and shit like that. Real American Indians. What have y'all fucking done? Y'all don't do shit. Matter of fact, hold on. Right here it shows that Native Americans have the highest poverty rates in the United States. Oh, I ain't done. Not even close. Substance use among Native Americans. The rates of substance abuse among Native Americans are generally higher than those of the general U.S. population. Data indicate that Native Americans have the highest rates of alcohol, Mary J, yayo, inhalants, and hallucinogens use disorders compared to other ethnic groups, right? So they have the highest rates of all substance abuse. It don't matter what the drug is, they gonna do it. But they like to call us crack babies, huh? Oh, this is slow roast pussy. Now, approximately 61% of Native American women marry outside of their race, while 54% of the men do, which means y'all have the highest rates of interracial marriage. So how could any of y'all be full-blooded? Y'all not. None of y'all never were. You crackers was put there, but more than half of y'all don't marry each other. Like, y'all don't even like each other, but coming over here talking shit to us, right? Oh yeah, and y'all like beating on y'all women too. Y'all like to talk about this shit, right? While DV happens across all gender identities, Native American girls and women experience the highest rates of DV and abuse in the US. More than 84% of Native Americans women experience some form of violence in their lifetime. Come on, all these damn stereotypes that y'all like putting on us applies to you motherfuckers. Now look at this. Native Americans have the second highest skin cancer rate in the United States. Right? And you know why that is? Because y'all are genetically recessive. The sun don't like you, which means that you can't be the original people of the land. The original people of the land were cultivators. They practice agriculture. And you know what you have to do that? Be in the sun all damn day. Y'all can't stand it. Y'all about to croak. Y'all about to croak over because of the sun don't like you, man. Y'all gotta stop talking us crazy. Y'all gonna put some respect on our name. Pale skin you got. That's the reason why y'all have that second highest rates of skin cancer. While you see this as, yes, light or pale skin is generally considered recessive to darker skin tones. The sun don't like you. It harms your skin while it charges ours. The people of the sun was my people. Like, this shit is literally biology, dog. Just like straight hair is a recessive trait. So all the traits that y'all got are recessive. None of them are dominant. None of them, and dominant means original, right? It's stronger, right? And none of y'all are original. None of y'all are dominant in nothing. Look at sports. Where y'all at? All the American sports, we dominate. We the greatest in all of them. Name one. Or probably we in the top, we full of the top 10, right? Top 20, top 100, top 1,000, right? Then what else? Where the fuck y'all music at? Y'all be yelling and screaming and shit all the damn time like the Siberians do. But all the music genres in the US was created by us, right? And y'all copy just like the rest of the world do. So put some respect on our name, pussy-eyed cracker. I'm a chill right here though. You feel me? I got more. If any of y'all fucking pale-skinned, pussy-eyed crackers who claiming to be an American Indian want to challenge me, just drop it in the fucking comment box, cuz I'm gonna just keep dropping facts after facts after facts in you fuckers' head. You ain't fucking with us, man. Y'all can't fuck with us in nothing. My people are the greatest, and y'all know this, and y'all hate it.
Since I revealed my 10-year journey to finding out who I am, I've been finding out shocking things. But one of the things that I found out was my connection to Native Americans. Every day since I've shared that information, I've received hate, tremendous amounts of hate. Hate from a people who told me and revealed to me that they're all about peace. But what I've been receiving has not been peaceful. Instead, on a daily basis, I am bombarded in comments where they like to use the word slave. You're a slave, aren't you? Don't your people come from slaves? And all I have to say is, yes, they do. Because little do you realize, slave, using it as a slur, trying to get up under our skin, it doesn't work anymore. Because slave is the new connotation for power, for survival, for strength, for continuation of the species. Because see, it looks to me like the ones who call themselves Native American now are living on little pieces of land, not really able to go anywhere else, not free to be anywhere else. Those tribal benefits, they're really not worth that much. Kind of, sort of, what the slaves were given during the Jim Crow era. You know, those wooden nickels, like that. And I don't get on here to bash you or to make you feel small, because you guys were duped too. You were duped into thinking you were going to survive, that Caucasian and European Americans were going to give you a chance. You currently, in 2025, have a hard time finding any Native American person who is full-blooded and has a 25% or more in their DNA genealogy bloodline. 25%. It kind of looks like you're dying out. It kind of looks like you don't have too many more generations to be around. But one of the things you need to understand, guess who's still here? The slaves. Every tight curl, kinky coil curl on our heads, our wide noses, our full lips and full hips. We come through like a boulder. Our DNA is so strong and so mighty. So yes, call me slave. I'm strong. I'm a survivor. I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, and I'm your biggest nightmare. Me and so many countless others share actual blood with you guys. DNA and genealogical makeup with each other. It's not just paper. It's not just folklore. And it's not going to go away. The more you anger us, the more you talk about us, the more you use the word slave, the harder we come. Guess what it starts to do? It starts to wake up other Black Americans. They start going, I wonder what that's about. Wonder why. I wonder what's going on. So we, Black Americans, some of us are the indigenous true people here in America, we take our power back. Every time you type the word slave, every time you talk about us being lesser than, you giving us our power back. Because slave now means strength. Slave means we'll survive. Take a good look around. Every last culture, ethnic group you mix with the slave produces an even stronger slave because our melanin is strong. It's fierce and it's powerful. So just like the kitchen witch I am, every single time you think to type slave, it's going to make us even more powerful. It would behoove you to get yourself together, to find out how to strengthen your tribes, because that bloodline is getting a little thin now, isn't it? Just saying. That's what DNA is. Oh, I try to give you is absolutely. Those common tests like 23andMe, Ancestry, those ones. They're kind of like the at-home ones where you spit in the little tube and they collect the saliva and then send it off. And then you end up getting a pie chart or some sort of graph that breaks down in percentages, most likely what place you have a commonality with. Yeah, those aren't really accurate. A lot of those testing and being able to really figure out where you're from and get the most accurate answer. I'm not saying it's going to be 100%, but to get the most accurate answer, trust me, it's going to take a whole lot of green, all right, to be able to get there. I didn't come to the conclusions I came to about myself just off of one day or one test. I came to the conclusions off of a series of tests coupled with records, coupled with a lot of other different family folklore and all kinds of other stuff. So trust me, it took years and a lot of money. So naturally, of course, when somebody like me who's going on the journey to try to find out about my family, about where I'm from, about where my roots lie, of course, it's going to bring out all of the haters. It's going to bring out people telling me I don't know where I'm from, people offering me information that I didn't ask them for. They're offering their 2 cents about my journey and my lineage, which is so bizarre to me. But just know, 23andMe, Ancestry.com is a great place to start. That's where you start. That's where you start connecting the dots with the folklore that you maybe have been told in your family. Sometimes you could have been told maybe 1 or 2 little things, but starting with Ancestry.com, starting with 23andMe will then lead you to other things. Now, I myself started out just how some of you start out, going to 23andMe, doing the little saliva in the cup, going to Ancestry.com, looking up historical records, and then over years, we're not talking about overnight, over years. I've been on this journey for a decade. A decade is 10 years, just in case you don't know. And this journey has been a long, arduous one. Very rocky, ups and downs, things that just shocked me to my core. Over this time period, I upgraded. I also got something called BRCA1 and BRCA2. These genetic testing are most commonly done for people with a very high percentage immediate family lineage where we have hereditary cancer issues within your line. So I'm thinking mother, father, siblings, aunts, grandparents, that kind of lineage. Okay, I did have that. There was a lot of female reproductive cancer and a lot of breast cancer. So I had the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 done. It is also done for people who have a long line of Ashkenazi Jewish in their lineage. I also checked that box. So there were things that led me through health or either just through circumstance to get even further genealogical, mouthful, right? Genealogical testing that also led me to some of my results. Once I saw and read up and researched on the BRCA test, I paid out of pocket to get further genetic testing since they were already going to get my blood anyway. I got further genetic testing in order to find out even more so who I have a commonality with. My results were very, very telling. I did end up finding out that there were quite a bit of what people consider Native American. I say more indigenous, but there were quite a bit of indigenous Native people in my family. And it wasn't the commonality that you would normally think, because I don't think I look Asian. Never been mistaken for that. But I'm thinking in my head like most people do. I'm thinking Native American as in the Asians or the Siberians or the Alaskans. I was never even thinking or considering Black people as being indigenous. Well, lo and behold, 10 years ago, I started to discover there were a lot of questions that I wasn't asking. And there was a lot I didn't know. I ended up finding out through records, history, that there were 2 sets of people considered enslaved back before America was America. There were copper people, they called them copper people. Then there were North African Berbers. Of course, humans do what humans do. They mix and mingle. There were Native Americans, those kind of we traditionally see as the Inuit or very pale skin, close to white. They look almost Asian or Chinese. They mixed with Black indigenous people, who we know as the copper people, and the copper people also mixed with the North Africans. And sometimes the Native American, Siberian-looking ones mixed with the North African Berbers. It was all a melting pot here. We were the Americas. West Indies, a lot of your ABC islands, St. Kitts, St. Croix, St. Vincent, Barbados. They were all mixtures, most of them being copper people. So this is where a lot of people, I think, get messed up in the head because they start thinking that Black people all of a sudden want to separate ourselves from Blackness. But au contraire, we are affirming ourselves. We are understanding where we come from for the first time ever, I think. That's how I got to the conclusion of a lot of my DNA lineage. I, from a lot of testing, have a very small portion that is North African Berber. I have a high portion that is considered West Indian, and it makes a lot of sense for the folklore and the situations that have happened in my family. I'm not saying that I'm not from Africa. I'm not saying that I don't have African roots. I wake up Black every day. I know who I am, but I'm saying my roots are more indigenous, and they're more connected to North America and these lands. So that makes me a Black indigenous American. Take it as you want. The bloodline doesn't lie. So y'all can keep tippity typing and trying to make it something else that is not. Proof is in the pudding.
Got on this goddamn internet and told all of us that he don't identify as
Okay, so it was multiple rappers. So let's unpack which rapper she's talking about first. Is she talking about Ice Cube? Is she talking about Waka? Is she talking about Kevin Gates? Is she talking about maybe the singer Shaka Khan? Is she talking about James Brown? I mean, there's a lot of people who, typically look black but still consider themselves to be American Indian due to their genealogy and knowing their ancestry, history, and their ancestors. So in the same way that Dominicans, Kenyans, Nigerians, Somalians, these people, when you try to put them under the umbrella of being black, and they say, I'm not black, I'm Dominican, I'm not black, I'm Kenyan, I'm not black, I'm Somalian, it's the same thing. Why you can't understand it? I'm confused because a person is more than a color. A person has culture. A person has an identity outside of what you consider to be black, even though our skin isn't even black. So it's just so much ignorant stuff I see, and it's so ignorant. Ignorance is the lack of knowledge. You don't know these people, family history. You don't know these people. You don't know anything about these people, right? And then it's safe to assume that Hispanic isn't a race, but people assume that people in Mexico are all indigenous, or anyone who has a certain phenotype that looks like an Alaskan native, the ones who come from Eurasia, they assume those are the real American Indians. And it's just laughable because no one ever questions them, but everyone want to question us. And then when you say you trace your lineage or you know your history, they say prove it. Then when you prove it by showing records, they say, oh, well, that's because y'all were slaves to the Indians. Do you not know Indians were slaves? I don't think a lot of y'all know that Indians were enslaved. There were millions and millions of American Indians here. And every time they would go to war, if they lost the war, they would get enslaved. So why do you only associate slavery with the people with my hue, my complexion? They took Indian slaves and brought them to other countries. But you don't see a plethora of those Alaskan-looking natives in these other countries, such as Jamaica, Haiti, and places like Liberia. You don't see them there, but they were brought there. I just find it interesting that people don't actually read anymore. They simply just say stuff on the internet, and hopefully it catches some type of fire for them to get some type of clout. That's what it's given. That's really what it's given, because I'm not understanding what her point is. And she's saying, y'all need to stop letting them do that. Who is y'all? Who gonna stop me from saying I'm American Indian? Who gonna pop me? Who gonna stop me? Like, let me know. I'm just confused. And I really hope I get a response, because there is so much more stuff I can go into. But I'm gonna just keep it real cute, because this page, I just got it back. So I'm gonna keep it real cute with the words I use, because I don't need this page to get banned again. And a lot of y'all don't know that what you would consider a Black American owned slaves. Free people of color were everywhere, not just up north. There were free people of color in the South who owned slaves, and these slaves would be white and Black, not just what you would call Black. There were slaves that's brown and you have slaves that's white. So it's funny how y'all keep throwing around that slave word as an insult when most people have experienced being prisoners of war. If you lose in war and they don't kill you, they're going to take you as a prisoner. This is something that's been going on for eons, centuries. Hello? And tell me, why would we care about what's going on their reservations? Remember, they were put on these reservations and they could not leave these reservations. So why would we care what's going on with their reservations when we're dealing with our own plights as American Indians who were reclassified as Black, and they try to erase everything about us? So you don't think we have bigger problems? Like, come on, baby. And the fact that you go against your own family when they're trying to tell you, your own family is trying to tell you who you are, and you saying you're going at it with them? Baby, you can't tell me nothing. Nobody gonna stop us from saying who we are. Nobody. If anything, more people are gonna start coming out saying who they are, because more people are gonna get motivated to track their family tree. More people are gonna start going to these county clerk offices and researching their property records and their family records and their land records. And you're a lot more of y'all about to see. I just can't wait. This over the years, more and more people coming out with it, and over the years, more and more people gonna continue to come out with it. Ain't nothing about to stop this, baby.
So I was just doing my little scrolling and judging. Y'all know me. And I've been seeing a lot of videos regarding Native Americans and how some of them are being deported. I seen one video where they found 4 illegal immigrants posing as Native Americans being deported to Mexico. And I'm noticing that even in some of the videos I've seen, that there are Native Americans talking crazy about Black people. Because now that I'm thinking, if Native Americans were the first to be here, right? Where were they when slavery took place? Because the first roundup of slaves didn't get to America until the 1600s, okay? Slavery ended in the 1800s. The Trail of Tears happened in 1830. I find it kind of odd that these colonizers would go all the way across the world to bring a whole group of people to a land that they are unaware of. They don't know anything about the agriculture here. They're unfamiliar with the weather. They have to relearn and retrain them on how to maintain the crops of that land. And they already have a group of people here that they have just pretty much taken their land over. Because usually in history, when a land has been colonized or taken over by other people from another country, they usually enslave the people of that land who were there first. They don't just take that land and then just set those people aside who were originally there and then take a trip that probably took months just to go bring a whole group of new people over and retrain them on how to maintain the land. That doesn't even make a bit of sense. Then even when it comes to the 14th Amendment, it excluded Native Americans at first. Oh, seriously, the math ain't math. Slavery ended in the United States in 1865. Indian Removal Act, that was passed in 1830. Well, Indians didn't really lose their land until like the late 18th century, early 1900s. And even still, Native Americans weren't considered United States citizens until they passed the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. So if Native Americans were the first people, why did they have to go through all of this shit to be considered citizens? Y'all wasn't even considered citizens until 1924, which means y'all didn't even get the rights to be considered citizens until after people who were brought from a whole other country went through chattel slavery. Y'all didn't get y'all rights until after them. So
from this land. And therefore, I would say it's also been a little bit difficult for me to present this data because maybe some of you will not like it. But anyways, not that long ago, we were looking at a skeleton remain 24,000 years old from Lake Baikal, which is in Siberia. And to our great surprise, what we saw there genetically is an individual who is genetically speaking partly Native American and partly European. Okay? And so, in other words, it's Europeans that give rise to Native Americans. And somehow crossing, the Bering language.
Is a direct descendant of a person who lived in Central Asia about 35 to 40,000 years ago. Wow. And his ancestor is also the ancestor of most Europeans and Native Americans. Wow. He's a man called Niazov, who lives in Kazakhstan.
Are you the same person that did some research on this on the internet that says that the Native American people are somehow connected to Central Europe?
Yes, Central Asia. Yeah, that was a paper that we published last year.
Okay. That's good to know.
What do you think of that?
I was looking at a book from people from Central Asia, and I saw my cousin Emmett and Abraham, the Auntie Grandma Buggy, and I said, my God, I got family over there in Central Asia. These were the Mongols.
And by the way, Native Americans, this infamous problem with metabolizing alcohol. You know who else has that problem? The Chinese.
They do?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So it's an Asian issue.
So you look at who populated North and South America before the land bridge. It's whoever was right at the edge of Asia. So Asians and the natives of North and South America have more in common with each other because of this than most other pairs of groups you might grab around the world.
Okay, I'm going to explain this because some of y'all seem confused. See this lady in the blue? That is an American Indian. This lady in the red? That is a Native American, an immigrant from Siberia. Once again, lady in the brown? That is an American Indian. Lady over here with the feather? That is a Native American, Siberian immigrant. This is an American Indian with the headband. This over here in the red is a Native American, immigrant from Siberia. Once again, lady in the brown, an American Indian, the indigenous people of America. Lady in the black jacket, Native American, immigrant from Siberia. These are two different people, two different cultures. Don't confuse them.
I got my DNA test back today, and it says I'm most notably connected, or my DNA is most notably connected to Chief Pontiac of the Ottawa Indians, or Native Americans. That blew my mind. And I was born in Korea, lived on the streets of South Korea.
Similar.
But there's not much Korean in me. How is that even possible? So I'm a Korean from Korea. That's not Korean. That's most notably connected to Chief Pontiac. How is that even possible?
Every time you leave, there's only one thing that I know. What's that? Baby, yo te extraño. Maybe that's la culpa.
Okay, so I've had a lot of comments on the last post I made, just into a reference of what I'm actually talking about, so I'll get into that a little bit, and I'm in the pickup line to get my kids, so it'll save me some time for them. Alright, so what I know and what I've heard and just what I've seen is that the GOV is trying to say that birthright citizenships of Native Americans isn't a real thing. That we were not here, and so it's not our right just to be a citizen of America, because, now I'm hearing, because we actually came from Siberia, and we weren't always here. So that's what I'm getting at, is that there's a lot of different places I've heard, and right now up north, people's reservations are getting split in half, and some are being sent to Canada. How is that possible? I don't really know.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
By the way, only one. What'd you say?
I said B.
B? You said B? What'd you say? C? Yeah? Did you say B? C? You said C? Damn, dude.
I can't really see A that well, but I guess from the other ones I'd say B.
You say B? Okay, well the answer is A, by the way. The others. Did anybody say A? Alright, good. So, the others are Siberian, so we're going to come to this. Alright, let's do the next one. Which one's of Native American ancestry, and which one is of Han Chinese ancestry? And the Han ethnic group is the dominant ethnic group in China.
I'm going to say that the one on the right is the Han Chinese ancestry, but I'm not too sure.
The one on the right is Han?
You ready for your what the fuck moment of the day? Let me show you some real American history. I'm willing to bet dimes of dollars that you believe this to be a Native American. But there's a little bit more to this story than you think. See, this is Mr. Curtis Edward. Now I know what you're thinking. What the fuck could this guy possibly have to do with Native Americans? Well, let me tell you a little story. Once again, going back to, the same fucking people over and over again. Mr. Morgan was the one that hired him to create the North American Indian. Spent about $75,000 over 5 years, the equivalent of $1.5 million today, to make 20 volumes with 1,500 photographs to erase the originals.
You've almost certainly seen some of these images before. At the turn of the 20th century, Edward S. Curtis walked away from his comfortable position as a portrait photographer to go on the road for decades, completing his project, The North American Indian. He spent years among North American tribes, with a sympathetic eye on their life and culture, becoming an amateur ethnographer in addition to becoming an extensive documenter of their life with his camera. There can be no doubt that Edward S. Curtis was a brilliant photographer, and that these are excellent historical documents. But the question remains, what exactly are these documents of? For example, was Curtis overly romanticizing and intentionally curating a picture of Native Americans that deliberately left out elements of modern life in order to reinforce a primitivist view of Indians that white Americans wanted to see? Or do we take Curtis at his word, just as a person who wanted to open a shutter on Native American life and all of its dazzling, complex diversity at a time when it was rapidly changing? Curtis was pushing in a different direction than the rest of American society at a time when government policies were actively seizing Native American land and working to help erase their culture. Having recently read Timothy Egan's book, Short Nights of the Shadowcatcher, I basically have two takeaways about Edward S. Curtis. One is that his project essentially ruined his life. It ran him down, it estranged him from his family. Second of all, we just have to be glad that his work exists. It left excellent documentation of a world that has changed dramatically. Let me know what you think.
We have some big news right now. NBC News has confirmed that as part of Donald Trump's mass deportation raids, ICE agents have snagged American citizens along with Native Americans, and racial profiling fears are growing because of it. According to NBC News, the Navajo Nation office has been flooded with calls from tribal members living off-reservation, with many saying that they have been questioned as part of ICE raids. Navajo Nation citizens are American citizens, and the Navajo president has even confirmed that there have been negative and sometimes traumatizing encounters between ICE and Navajo Nation citizens. In Newark, a U.S. military veteran who's an American citizen was detained for a period of time because of an ICE raid. In New York, a warehouse manager who's a U.S. citizen has been detained for a period of time. With more raids to come, this will likely only increase. If you're watching this video and you are fearful, carry your identification with you and go to the ACLU's website to learn more about what you can do.
Okay, so I've had a lot of comments on the last post I made, just into a reference of what I'm actually talking about, so I'll get into that a little bit, and I'm in the pickup line to get my kids, so it'll save me some time for them. Alright, so what I know and what I've heard and just what I've seen is that the GOV is trying to say that birthright citizenships of Native Americans isn't a real thing. That we were not here, and so it's not our right just to be a citizen of America because, pause, now I'm hearing because we actually came from Siberia.
The Navajo Nation also pushing back tonight against the administration's immigration roundups. The tribe says at least 15 people here in Arizona and New Mexico got questioned in their home or at work asked to show proof of citizenship. They say they have reached out to Homeland Security and state leaders to get to the bottom of this. The people on the reservation are in fear as many struggle to keep up with their documents. It's unclear if anyone was actually apprehended on tribal land.
With each of our tribes, with the Navajo Nation, for example, we do have a certificate of Indian blood, meaning that we do have identification, knowing that we are members of the Navajo Nation. And right now, it's very uncertain if that is being verified.
They say at least one person was wrongfully detained and released in a raid in Phoenix, some others in Scottsdale. The tribe warning their people to be prepared and to stay vigilant.
It's called karma.
What stings the most is the feeling of being stripped of her identity. It's a direct attack on who I am. Technically on paper, I'm not native. Santana Rubang and her grandfather Robert Rubang were also disenrolled. Santana now lives in Louis, the tribe where her mother is from. But she's not a member of Louis either because she doesn't meet blood quantum requirements there. Blood quantum was imposed by the U.S. government in the early 1900s as a means to define and limit citizenship within Indian tribes. It's still being used today to measure the amount of tribal blood in a person's ancestry.
Blood quantum isn't how we identify as indigenous. It's my connection to the land and the knowledge that I carry. It's not the amount of blood that I have in me. It's the fact that it's there and lives through me is all that matters to me. But I'm not enrolled anywhere.
This neighborhood is where Santana grew up learning Nooksack traditions.
Hello, my grandchildren.
And since Robert is no longer considered Nooksack, he's also facing eviction. He's fighting to stay to preserve his mother's legacy, the woman who was known for weaving baskets out of cedar.
It's been really stressful. It just hurts.
Everybody want to be American. Lord have mercy. Let's read this. A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper color races found here by the Europeans. But what? But now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Baby, the fact that you think you remotely as brown as copper is just hilarious. Please stop making me laugh. Like, you think you look like her? This is the Copper Romance magazine, baby, in the 60s, baby. You think you look like us? Who want to be copper all of a sudden? Who want to be Aboriginals all of a sudden? Yeah, all right. Let's take a look at this definition one more again.
About ending birthright citizenship. How confident are you that the court will rule in your favor and allow that order to end birthright citizenship to go forward?
Well, you're just telling me that for the first time. I am so happy. I think the case has been so misunderstood. That case, birthright citizenship, is about slavery. If you look at the details of it, the signings of it, everything else, that case is all about slavery. And if you view it from that standpoint, people understand it. But for some reason, lawyers don't talk about it. The news doesn't talk about it. That's not about tourists coming in and touching a piece of sand and all of a sudden they're citizenship. They're a citizen. That is all about slavery. And even look at the dates on which it was signed. It was right at that era, right after the Civil War. And if you look at it that way, the case is an easy case to win. And I hope the lawyers talk about birthright, citizenship, and slavery, because that's what it was all about. And it was a very positive. It was meant to be positive. And they use it now instead, not for slavery. They use it for people that come into our country and they walk in and all of a sudden they become citizens and they pay a lot of money to different cartels and others. It's all about slavery. And if you look at it that way, we should win that case. Okay.
I hope you guys are still not wondering why this is happening. I mean, wow, the karma of it all. You told us to go back to Africa, and they're like, no, you go back to Canada.
Let me tell y'all something. With the tether class, I want y'all to understand why we got to be very careful and why it is good that we have called out this stuff. Tethers, they like to act as colonizers when they get around foundational Black Americans. They take on the same disposition and mindset of colonizers. Just really study the tether class. Really study the tether class.
They do exactly what the European colonizers did when they showed up to a new land. When the Spanish showed up over here in the Western Hemisphere, what did they do? They planted their flag. The first thing they did when they hit the shores, they would plant their flag. All of them did that. When Britain went to a certain place, they planted their flag on the land, right there on the beach. And they made an announcement. That was something that the Pope required. When they showed up somewhere to the new land, because of the doctrine of discovery, you have to make an announcement that you're claiming the land for Spain or you're claiming the land for Portugal. So that's what they do. The Spanish come, plant their flag, and they go to the natives and say, hey, look, my name is Columbus, and I thereby claim this land for the crown of Spain. So they make an announcement. That's how they would usually do it. The Tethers kind of do that too. Just like the European colonizers who raise their flag and claim territory, the Tether class, they come over here and they start instantly asserting their national identity of the place they fled from. Not in solidarity. They don't do this to say, hey, look, you are our brothers and we are brothers. No, 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 no. They do that in contrast of us. They come in and start throwing them flags around. They used to do it real heavy. They've chilled out now because we've been calling it out. But instead of coming in and joining and saying we're going to be reinforcement, they come in and brag, this is Nigerian. Everything I do positive, this is Jamaican. Everything I do positive, this is Ghanaian. Everything I do positive, it is Haitian. That's them saying we're not like you. Not only are we not like you, what they're saying to us, we're better than you. That's what they're saying. And that mirrors the colonizers who did that when they brought that bullshit from Europe to try to claim superiority over the native population. Then what do the Tethers do? They try to take over FBA spaces just like the colonizers. Colonizers don't usually build from scratch. They come in and basically hijack existing infrastructures. See, a lot of the Tether class, they come in and insert themselves into movements, organizations, institutions built by foundational Black Americans, civil rights organizations, diversity initiatives, Black studies departments, media platforms. And then when they get inside, what do? They started to push to reshape the message. They reshape the leadership. They reshape the agenda. And that's usually away from foundational Black American specific concerns. Just like colonizers, they'll take over a native governance and replace it with imported leadership and foreign rule. Same thing. And it should be called out. We're calling this stuff out. Because just like the European colonizers, see, the Tether colonizers, they attempt to do cultural erasure and rebranding. See, a classic tactic of colonization is renaming things. You come in and rename the people, you rename the land, you erase native culture. What do the Tether class do to us? They always try to redefine stuff. When we tell them we're foundational Black Americans, what do? That is a hate group. That is a online internet. They always do little things to try to rename and redefine our lineage. That's colonizer shit. You understand? They're always trying to remix and redefine what it means to be a Black person in America. Then they start using Pan-African slogans to try to minimize our Black identity, our foundational Black American identity. And then they'll start claiming what we created. Well, hip-hop was from the Caribbean. Soul food came from the Yoruba people. Gumbo came from Africa. It is an African word. They come in colonizing. Everything we do and create, they say, well, that's African culture. And you are not FBA, nigga. You are really African. You see, that's a soft conquest. That's not something that is a positive, constructive thing. Because see, we got the Jedi mind trick pulled on us thinking that if they come over and we just start putting everything in the Africa pot, well, then we're all going to share the benefits. No. It's been a con game. That's the con game that's been run on us. We think, okay, we need to all get our numbers up and then identify as one big global African. And then everything that we all do, we're all going to get to share. We're going to all benefit as one big African group. Has that been working? Only one side has been benefiting. Everybody comes over here and benefits off everything that we are stomping for. And there is no reciprocal benefits. Let's be real. It's not. There are no reciprocal benefits. We don't get nothing over in Africa. They ain't bringing nothing over here to us. Am I being mean? Am I telling a lie? If I'm telling a lie, somebody please stop me. If I'm saying anything wrong, I would love to be corrected. But the reality is, family, we don't really benefit. Not only do we benefit and others do, we get undermined because what happens is these folks come in, infiltrate the institutions formed by foundational Black Americans. And then when they start taking over, everything becomes degraded. They infiltrate and then gut everything, and they're no longer useful to us. Right? Look at the organizations that these folks come in and infiltrate. The NAACP, it's a whole bunch of foreigners running that now. How's that working for us? How's the NAACP working for us today? Let's just be real. The Urban League, they done infiltrated that nothing. You go to the Urban League, they're talking about immigrants. The Congressional Black Caucus. What have they done? And that's full of non-FBAs now. How's that working for us? They literally don't do anything for us. I mean, nothing, but everything for immigrant groups. Come on now. Look at all the institutions that they've become a part of and look what happens. Look at some of the HBCUs now. They're letting these folks, these foreigners, become the presidents of them. And all of a sudden we get this massive immigrant enrollment. You got Mexicans and all of this stuff all up in the HBCUs now. Just like we talked about that story the other day. Somebody got deported or he got put in an immigration detention and the media tried to be slick. Oh, a Morehouse graduate got detained. Boy, the HBCU community is really up in arms. But they didn't say in the headline that the dude was a goddamn Hispanic. Just say that. Don't run the Jedi mind trick. The dude is Hispanic. You see? But yeah, they get in these organizations and all of a sudden everything becomes degraded because there's another agenda. Look at Essence. That's why everybody's up in arms about Essence. Essence was great. The Essence Festival was great. The Tethers got their hands on it. It immediately started going to hell. So we're not just making stuff up here. That's how colonizers do. That's on brand with colonization. Because see, the colonizers, they always assume a civilizing mission. They always claim they're bringing civilization to the savages. And a lot of the Tether class, they have that same mindset. They try to come here and ignore all the savagery that was going on in their homeland, and then come over here talking about how bad black people in Chicago is. Just like,
y'all seem to have a problem with people that look like me with Afro texture hair reconnecting back to the tribe. But when I went to the Black Indigenous TikTok or the Wabo TikTok, I was provided with an abundance of information.
That's the point. That's the point.
About things that y'all should know, things that y'all should be able to tell us, especially if we do have the documentation, genealogy, ancestry, paperwork to show that.
We got proof. We got proof. I can't listen. You cannot debunk the truth. We got proof. That's why they be hiding in the comment section. They don't want to show their face for real. They know better. They know better. I swear I be wanting to pop up on them folks just cuz. But I gotta keep it professional. I welcome them on my platform. Let's get a debate in. They run scared. Ooh, hey man. Hey man. I'm proud, man.
What's the issue? At this point, I really think all of y'all are some suspicious characters, and I really wish that y'all would leave Black American genealogy to the Black Americans, the ones that are actually educated and the ones that actually know, because trying to feed us information from the colonizer about our history and his story, the one that won, that's not going to suffice for us. And y'all also went along and thought it was funny to disrespect our elders as if our elders were some type of imbeciles, as if our elders were these uneducated, just crazy mongrel black people that just don't know shit, when we are the descendants of those ancestors that y'all could not destroy.
Right.
So please.
Hold on, sister. Good job. Good job. Good job. See, that's what I'm talking about. Matt, give her a round of applause. Talk to them, bro. All right. That's what I'm talking about. They can't take that from you when you got evidence, when you got paperwork, when you got the receipts. They can't take that from you. So what they do? They sit an agenda out there to try to hide it some more, make it more difficult for others to wake up, raise the prices sky high. I remember back in, 2017, when they raised the genealogy prices up by 500%. Yeah, man. You ain't getting away with it.
Be aware, our elders are not dumb. They're not dizzy. They know exactly what the fuck they're talking about, and they know exactly who the fuck they were. Sorry if it doesn't fit your narrative. Be aware. I know it's all fun and games now, but sometimes your mouth, it can condemn you. These are lessons and these are things that I'm working on myself, so I always try to make sure I'm being mindful of what I say online. I'm always trying to be mindful of what I say to people just in general. Oh yeah, and while you guys are still working tirelessly day after day trying to get a reaction out of my community, and you guys think that you're going to incite violence or try to claim you want WAR with my community, please be aware, the colonizer could not destroy us, the Spanish, the French, the Irish could not destroy us, the Africans could not destroy us, the Native Americans could not destroy us. What else? Tulsa, Oklahoma did not destroy us. Rosewood did not destroy us. The Tuskegee experiments did not destroy us. World War I, World War II, and the Civil War did not destroy us. All of the black massacre incidents from the 18 and the 1900s did not destroy us, honey. Jim Crow did not destroy us. Redlining did not destroy us. Poison in the water and poison our community, putting lead in the walls did not destroy us. It's up.
All right, y'all. It's been real. I'm gonna call it a night right there. Y'all, it's over with. I see y'all next time. I'm gonna go live. She killed that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Are y'all seeing the pattern? So, while y'all still working tirelessly, trying to destroy us, good luck with that. I got a question.
Peace and blessings, everybody. I just want to go ahead and speak on this African Union situation real quick. The motherfucking audacity of these goddamn people, bro. I'm not understanding what the hell is wrong with them. But, bruh. And, but, whatever. Just want to say a few things. Let's start with the fact that it should be completely illogical and totally irrational for anyone of the African continent to feel as though they can speak for anyone, even a single person, let alone the entire community or nation of quote-unquote black / indigenous Americans. Take / out black indigenous Americans. From my understanding, the AU is conglomerized of subsects, and those subsects have groups, or 5 locations that they identify, and these lower groups are basically the countries within those jurisdictions, right? So here's the problem with that. How can any of these, matter of fact, what makes these individuals, what makes a Nigerian a Nigerian? The majority of people are going to say, because when Nigeria was created, those individuals resided in that location, right? Follow me. Ghana was created. Ghanaians already lived in that location. So now they're Ghanaians. Now they're Nigerians. Now they're Beninese and all these other Congolese, Senegalese, blah, 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 all these locations. My grandma was born in 1938. What's the oldest one of them countries? Oh, okay. I mean, my grandma older than all y'all countries. Damn, they're almost all y'all. With the exception of like Liberia, which, Americans created. But while everybody's running around trying to attempt to say, or these Africans running around trying to attempt to say that we are part of their diaspora, we are Africans and all here in the Americas and all this extra shit. The problem that I have with this is the exact same thing that makes you a Nigerian, that makes you a Ghanaian, that makes you a whatever country in Africa that you claim, is the exact same thing that would make us Americans, even if we have came from Africa, which we did not. See, the formation of the United States occurred in 1776. All of the individuals that you know modernly as Americans, Black indigenous Americans, all were here prior to 1776. So, the exact same thing that makes you a Nigerian or a Congolese person or a Senegalese person, the same exact principle of why you're so proud to wave that flag is the exact same principle that we hold here. We were already in this country and representing ourselves as such before 1776. I ain't even gonna be an asshole and go into the fact that the majority of y'all can't name your great-grandmothers. I'm talking about their names. Meanwhile, the average American can tell you their great-grandmother's names, nicknames, and where she's from here in the Americas. But let's go ahead and step past that. Hey, New York and DC, did y'all know that the AU, African Union, has offices in both of your cities? For example, in Washington, D.C., the African Union has a location at 1640 Wisconsin Avenue, Northwest. And there's another one in New York at 305 East 47th Street, New York City, New York. What on earth would we do with that information? I mean, what would we want to do with that information? I mean, sure, they've attempted to claim Americans as the sixth region of their illegitimate organization. I mean, they've even attempted to say that they want to tap into the $1.7 trillion spending power that Americans possess. They've even gone as far as to say that they are now the forerunners for reparations and saying that their nations deserve a peace. I'm just talking. I doubt any of my followers live in New York or DC. But if you do, you're welcome.
You know, the delineation movement, America has thrown its weight on top of other groups. Because before the delineation movement, we was out in the forefront. We was taking the rubber bullets. We was taking the tear gas. We was taking everything that America was throwing at us at protest. And when we step back and say, now y'all on your own, now other groups are starting to see how we were treated. Groups that told us that we were race baiting. Groups that told us that we just didn't want to work, etc. Case in point, you have a Latino man that's finally realizing what we were talking about. Let's go ahead and check that out.
I can empathize and sympathize with the Black community. I've never been able to do that before because I would hear them say things like, oh, we walk down the street and we get profiled and, cops will just suddenly stop and frisk or whatever just because of the color of your skin. And I always thought like, it's a little bit of a stretch. It feels like a little bit of a stretch. That person must be doing something, right? And obviously, I've never experienced that before. I've never felt that way before and stuff. And so I always thought like, ignorantly, by the way, on my part, thinking like, I think you guys are, because I'm brown, I've never felt that and stuff like that. I'm also a minority. But now, with us, it wasn't the cops. Cops are just randomly go and checking in the past. But now it's our turn, right? Now we feel it. Now we feel like, crap, can I just go down the street? Do I need my paper? It's like, why are you stopping me? I'm a U.S. citizen. We're not doing anything wrong. And now we're being persecuted. And so now I'm thinking like, crap, this is what the Black community meant, and I kind of feel bad. Well, I don't kind of feel. I feel bad because I never really could understand where they were coming from or where you guys were coming from. But I can assure you that now that it's here with us too, it's like, crap, I honestly, legitimately didn't think it was real. But it's real as hell. And it's obviously minority groups that are targeted and persecuted pretty much. And it's right now with us because we're brown. You guys have had your turn when, cops were just in bigger cities, urban areas, stopping disproportionately, the Black community and stuff. And I just want to say, like, I guess now I understand. I think moving forward, it's going to be a little bit more unity because we now can see where you guys are coming from. At least I can, And so, yeah, guys, I just want to say sorry for being ignorant before, but I hope this unites all communities, not just minorities, and call out things for what they are, regardless of the race.
Well. You see what delineation has produced, ladies and gentlemen. Just when we decided to stay out the way, stay in our house, mind our business, we taking vacations, or actually going to be getting ready for our kids to go back to school,
Delineation has opened the eyes of many people. And this is what they really didn't want to see. They listen, no matter what he said, he knew good well that they were racially targeting black people because people in his community, there were cops was doing it to black people too. Okay. So you cannot just say, oh, I never understood. No, a lot of you understood. Let's say maybe he didn't. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But a lot of people all over knew how black people being treated. Stop and frisk, beating black people, shooting black people dead. Everybody seeing that. You understand? Yes, the police is pulling you over and messing with you now, but the police still haven't treated none of y'all, especially ICE, have not treated y'all like Philando Castile. I have not seen one incident of ICE doing that to anybody. You understand what I'm saying? I haven't seen one incident of any ICE officer treating you like Eric Garner. Didn't see that. I haven't seen no incidents. They entering the wrong house and shooting people like they did both of John. And he's a Caribbean brother, but still, don't matter. I haven't seen them do any of that stuff to y'all, right? So yes, you're getting harassed. Yes, you're being profiled. Yes, don't feel good. Do it. That you're not doing anything and they just messing with you. See, that's the problem. You other groups, if you would have done what our previous civil rights leaders wanted and actually would have went on a true quote unquote coalition, y'all wouldn't be dealing with this right now. But see, what the problem is that a lot of you aren't forward thinking, right? You're not thinking, you know what? I'm going to join with them because in the future, this could happen to me. But no, you believe what them folks told you. You believe you just work hard. I'd be such a hard worker, right? And they clapping for you. Oh, you're such a hard worker. That was going to save you. Hard work does not save you in a system of white supremacy. It don't save you. Because black folks worked hard and the only time we became lazy is when we start saying, no, you won't pay me for my work and you won't pay me the right way. I'm not working for free. They'll tell you all day, oh, you're such a hard worker. They'll clap for you. They say, oh, you work so hard more than those black people. Because they don't want to pay you. So they'll stroke your ego. They're great at stroking your ego to get what they want. They're good at that. And unfortunately, some of you, that's all you need is for them to stroke your ego. And that's what happened to a lot of people in your community, sir. They were doing your community wrong the whole time. They weren't paying your community right. Some people go work on these farms or whatever. Then when they want to get their pay, they'll call ICE on them and get them deported and don't have to pay them. This thing they were doing in your community way before Trump and all this mass deportations. And y'all still didn't say nothing. So what I'm saying is this. Okay, you're starting to see, but you haven't seen enough. So this is why the delineation movement has to continue and has to continue until further notice. I think it needs to continue indefinitely because this is not enough time. People need to experience years and decades of how this system really is before they fully get it. Maybe he gets it now, but enough people don't get it. Because when enough people get it, they're going to come right to FBAs, just like he's saying in this video, and say, hey, man, see, we don't have to do nothing right now. The era of us fighting for everybody is over. That's done. That's done. We're on the era of self-preservation. We are in the era of fixing our own communities. We're on the era, we're going to fight for us. Period. That's the era that we're in. We're not getting off our couches. We're not doing nothing for nobody. We've done enough. It's no different than the Bible time. How many times that God has sent prophets and to warn and to fight and do everything for the people? And every time the people don't listen, they have a hardened heart until things start coming down. I'm like, oh, now I see what the prophet was saying. But it's too late at that point. God tried to warn you for a long time. Have you other groups ever thought that God was trying to save you from this day? Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought that for at least since the 1980s that I know, since the 1980s all the way up to now, God was giving you a grace to join his people, and you chose not to because a lot of you didn't want to join black people because of your anti-black racism? Have you ever thought about that? Because I'm going to tell you this much. Black leaders want to join more with Latinos than they want to join with Caribbeans and Africans. That's the truth. They would always say black and brown, black and brown. They never say black and African. They never said Caribbean. They never said any of that. Hey, the diaspora. They always want to join with Latinos. They never even said Asians like that. They always said Latinos. So y'all really don't have an excuse for the anti-black racism that's in your community that's running around. You don't have an excuse. And I'm not saying he's a part of it. I'm not accusing him of anything. We're just talking about what happens in Latin America and also what they brought up here with them. Because that's the only reason white folks allowed them to come, because they already knew they have anti-black racism in their homeland. That's why they let them come up here. No matter what people say about African and Caribbean immigrants, they don't let them come in the amount of numbers as people that come from Latin America. And the black people who are Latin, right? They don't let them come up here. But see, the problem was, they miscalculated the white folks. They miscalculated that the Latinos were going to stay underneath them. See, Latinos' numbers are swelling pretty big, and white folks is not. And they see the way Latinos move, say, wait a minute, when they get numbers, they're like, F them white people. We don't like them either. And they know that. That's why they're trying to, oh man, we got to get them out of here, especially them. They got to go. It's not really a whole lot of Africans and Caribbeans like talking about here, like it is the Latino. So the Latinos is going to catch hell with Trump. Oh, yes. Because the Latinos threaten their demographics big time. Oh, Latinos threaten them. They're having way too many kids. The white woman's not having kids like that, at least not with the white man. Let me say, she having kids, but just not with the white man. So his best bet is, hey, to get the men on out of here. Women too, but get the men on out. Get them out. Because he's afraid of demographic change. And it's happening too fast on him. You understand? But when it comes to us, it's black Americans. Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. But, it's a but. Y'all haven't experienced enough racism from these people. Y'all haven't really dealt with them. You understand what I'm saying? And when you really deal with them finally, when you really deal with that, like I say, y'all starting to deal with the final boss of racism, when y'all finish dealing with that, trust me, there's going to be more y'all singing this song. Because they haven't even got started yet. They haven't. Because they know good and well when Trump get out, that's going to be probably by the end of that. Now, black people, don't. I know it's hard for you to get out of a bad habit because the bad habit is going to save people. But don't get out your rest for nobody. No matter what they say, no matter say, oh, I see now, and oh, I get it. I mean, I'm glad you're getting it, but and even this man was saying basically he thought we was exaggerating, right? So he was part of that crowd too. If he's saying we was exaggerating or making more of it than what it is, then it leads me to believe if somebody was calling us just lazy, he probably would have joined that too. Or that crowd would say, oh, they got to be doing some crime. The police wouldn't just pull them over and mess with them. He admitted he already said that. So it's interesting how life turns, right? Isn't it interesting? God, it's interesting how life just turns. The stuff you're talking about somebody else, now you're in the middle of it. And now you're like, oh man, I see what I'm talking about. And you think about all the times you talk down on black people. You think about it. And it's just hitting you like a ton of bricks. I love life. I'm telling you, I love life. Listen, life is the best teacher of everybody. I'm telling you, life is the best teacher. Watch what you say when people are dealing with issues. Watch what you say. Keep your comments limited, because you being so loud against people like that, they can come right back on you. And we've been telling y'all about this country. We've been telling y'all how racist they have been. And y'all didn't care because it had nothing to do with you. But it has something to do with you now. Trump also trying to stop immigrants from sending all that money out here. Well, they can do it, but he's talking about taxing them for it, right? Because they tied all that money going out of this country. And see, that's another thing when it comes to you folks. You pay reparations, that money would have stayed right here. Just heard of a number the other day. Mexico gets $61 billion, would it be? $1 billion a year from Mexicans sending money back to Mexico. That even affects their GDP. That's how much money is being sent back from the country, from the states. That's why Trump is like, oh, no. We got to do something about that. That's way too much money leaving the country. See, you folks would pay reparations. The money would circle in this country. $61 billion would be leaving just to one country alone, right? From FBAs, because FBAs don't have no other country to be sending money to. It will circle the economy. But the problem is with you folks is that you are so anti-black racist, you'd rather that happen than black folks. Think about it. If you gave black folks $61 billion a year for reparations for the next 20 years, right? Let's say for the next 20 years, that money would just circulate in the economy. Just circulate. That's it. And it will benefit all Americans, because black people won't spend the money right here in America. 9 times out of 10. But like my grandmother always said, just keep saying good morning. You will see how things end up, and that's really how it is. Why this guy's dealing with this issue, and his community dealing with a lot of this issue right now. That talk crap about black people. Trust me, they about to get a rude awakening about their racism, and it's going to teach them about some of their ways too toward black folk.
What do you think, Morgan? Is this political correctness gone too far?
Yeah. I mean, we have a tendency to do that anyway. I mean, you get politically correct. Stuff happens that you don't want to happen. I all of a sudden became an African. Correctness, African American. I'm not African. American. I'm not.
This is Morgan Freeman's mother, Mamie Edna Freeman. She was born in Itta Bena, Mississippi, a small town in the Mississippi Valley. Itta Bena, which was a Choctaw phrase meaning forest camp. The name of the town is a Choctaw phrase. Choctaw Indians occupied the Delta region for hundreds of years prior to the arrival of European settlers. You're fucking right, Morgan Freeman. You are an American. You are a descendant of a Choctaw Indian. We know the truth now.
Just more evidence. And like Morgan Freeman said, like, all of a sudden we was Africans. They just labeled us all together. That's insane. When there's obviously evidence amount of proof that proves that we are the original people of this land. Just that simple. Like, I find it crazy. But hey, make it right. Like, I'm still getting racist Native Americans jumping in my comments and stuff with the whole American Indian, but they're even jumping on these videos now with the Greatest Deception video, like, you guys are Africans, and it's like, some are, most of us aren't. Y'all know that the truth has been revealed. Y'all know that slavery was a deception, and y'all time is fucking up. Time's up. You can't lump us all together anymore, because we're asking for a change, and we're asking for individuality. But hey, if you liked the video, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. Every little click helps, and we thank you guys so much over here at Azrael Reacts. I've been your boy Azrael. This has been another episode of Azrael Reacts, and I'll check you guys next time. Deuces!